Hello. I know I just made a video, but I have some difficult health news to share, and then I have a couple of joyful things to share. So I guess we'll start with the difficult news, and it's big. Um, in my last video, I talked about how I think I mentioned that my liver counts were up, and I mentioned that I didn't know if I was wanting to go through with the chemo or not. The new chemo that I'd be starting. Well, that decision was made for me because my liver counts continue to be so bad that I can't do any chemotherapy. So not only that, but that means that my liver is failing. I don't even know how many tumors are in there. I think there's more than 10. Basically, my lesions are legion. So liver failure was always kind of a pretty big possibility. So far, my eyes are quite yellow. My skin is not yellow yet. It's not itchy yet. I am increasingly sleepy though, and my mobility is getting compromised. Like it's getting harder to walk around, harder to lift my legs or bend down. Everything is a cost-benefit analysis. Everything takes so much longer than it used to. Something like a shower is very discouragingly difficult, even though I have a shower chair. So my body is kind of breaking down. That's difficult. And also the not knowing the timeline exactly of how liver will break down. The oncologist thought that I had about a few weeks to live with my liver failure. The palliative care team thought that maybe I had maybe a couple months. So I don't know who's right, and I think it just depends on how quickly I decline. They'll be able to guess a little bit better as that happens. It's hard to wrap my head around that timeline. I don't know. It's just really difficult to wrap my head around the idea that I might not be here, like for the last day of school or for McKinley's birthday is June 7th. We moved the party up 2 weeks, so at least maybe there's a better chance that I can be at the party. But even then, I don't know if I'll be able to be there or not. So things like that are, they're difficult to process. But on the same hand, I knew that my body was breaking down. I am really tired. So I can understand how this is the truth. However, it is not the only thing happening right now. I am still here, and there is still joy to be found. One thing that happened was I got a walker, but I got a walker with all-terrain tires, and it kind of has a seat. So I've been able to take it on walks in the woods. It's a beautiful day today. Michael took me for a walk in the woods at Second Lake Park. And that's one of my favorite places. It's my happy place, especially in May when all the little leaves are starting. So I can't walk as far, but when I get tired, I don't have to wait for a bench. I can just sit on my little walker. So that's pretty cool. That came on Monday, and it was really exciting. I've used it twice so far. The other piece of joy is, it's a big deal. You might remember that I was writing a book. It was the only thing that I hadn't accomplished in my life when I got diagnosed with cancer. I felt like I'd kind of taken travel off the table for environmental reasons, and then so as far as other things I'd done with my life, I had done them all, but I had always meant to write a book. So last spring, during like my chemotherapy, I managed to do that. I managed to finish a draft of this book. And then I worked on it through the summer, and then I had a friend, my friend Kate, did some developmental edit notes for me. And there was just one that I wasn't sure I wanted to do, so I wanted some second opinion. So I sent the book to two of my friends. One of them hasn't gotten very far to read it yet, and the other one scanned it and just said, Janet, I want this in your hands. I want you to have this in your hands. So my friend Kelly in Montreal managed to have this book self-published. She has a friend who has self-published books before, like his own books, and he is also like a book designer. So he designed the book, and they had 25 copies printed up. So obviously they each got to keep one. So what arrived in UPS yesterday was 23 copies of a book that I wrote. And it might be a third draft rather than a polished piece of something that will be published by a real publisher. But I completed it, and that feels pretty amazing. I'm kind of proud of my accomplishment. So let's see if I can show it to you. Okay, so this is the cover. It's called Sorona's Branches. And there's my name. And this is the back cover. I am so excited to have this, and some of my friends will be getting copies as well, so I hope that they're looking forward to that, whether they read it or not. It's long. It turned out to be 442 pages long. It was only like 370 on Word, which that's very long too. I'm sure if I had a couple years to edit this, it would be whittled down some. But here it is in all its glory. Yeah, so we are entering a difficult time. It's a time when there's a lot to be honestly scared about, actually. I have some fear. I have some fear about my body breaking down more. I don't know what happens when I need help getting to the bathroom. I'm worried about all of that stuff. But it's also May, and there are wonderful things happening. And I just need to find space for all of it. So maybe I'll talk to you again.